Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
There's so much going on in your community that even in this age of information, it's tough to keep up. This show will help. It's all about what's new, what's happening, and what's out there. So if you're ready, sit back and listen up, Santa Paula.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen up, Santa Paula. It is yours truly. We are back.
Yes, after a couple weeks hiatus here.
We're back.
Yes.
Wasn't there a horror movie like that?
Yeah. I forgot what it was.
We're back.
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I think they were coming out of a TV or something.
Yeah. Are we having technical difficulties?
Well, we're on. I don't know why the screen's not coming up.
Can't see myself.
I know. Is that a problem? Do you like looking at yourself?
Not really, but just want to make sure I'm okay. you
Okay.
know? So, yeah. Do I look okay?
We got your good side.
Okay. Perfect. That's all I need.
So before we get into the harder things, New Year resolutions, all that good stuff, we have some things that are going on in Santa Paula that are causing some concern for our businesses.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk about that?
Yes. I know a lot of our business. We had a organization, law firm and individual that filed over 30 lawsuits in Santa Paula with some of our small businesses. And it's a concern because it's all has to do with ADA compliance. And it's an organization that may be very suspect because these are organizations that law firms and individuals that go around preying on small businesses.
Yeah, they're ambulance chasers.
Exactly. So this has happened all throughout the state. Happened earlier in Camarillo earlier this year, and now they're making a way through Santa Paula. So you see, you're adjusting my camera. Nice.
I just
Thank you.
want to get you centered a little
Okay,
bit there.
perfect. So they were all filed over the last few weeks. ABC7 was out here actually doing some interviews. They interviewed some of our businesses, and a lot of these claims are, some may be bogus, some may be valid. It's just, it's just interesting that one individual went around and filed lawsuits with 30 businesses all pretty much at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that, number one, that guy's not doing business with any one of these businesses. So it's not affecting him in any way.
No.
I get the whole ADA thing.
Correct.
But let's be reasonable. The small businesses can't afford to stay on top of all of these laws like, bigger businesses can.
Yeah.
Not only can they not afford to stay up on all the laws, they can't always afford to do all the retrofits that are required.
Exactly.
So are you telling these people that you can't be in business because you don't have the ability to do this stuff?
Yeah. And they're just forcing their hand. And what do? Do you go to court with them and spend all this money, or do you settle?
Right.
And that's the goal for these people. They're trying to just get them to settle, but using scare tactics and everything. So
yeah.
As a small business owner, you're a small business owner. I used to be one at one point. You can't afford a $4,000 plus a fee.
No.
Because I think through state law with ADA violations, it's a minimum of $4,000. And
once you're picking, then people are, who says people aren't going to just line up?
Exactly. So, and it's hard for them to fight back because they are individuals. Some may just don't have the resources to do it. I know when the TV station came out, they know it's a scam because they've been following it, trying to figure out how we can expose these organizations. They don't respond to any of their calls. So what do you do? So the city's been aware of it. We're aware of it. We know who these lawsuits are against. Trying to find some opportunities to maybe get some resources to help them. I don't know if it's going to prevent the lawsuits, but at least we can maybe help them get up to standards that they need to, or at least get them aware of what they need to do. Because I think some of these are kind of bogus, some of the claims, but if they're not in compliance, then yeah, maybe they need to do it, but they shouldn't be fined. They should have the opportunity to correct them and not pay. But I think for the most part, they just this company wants to just get paid.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
I mean it's total ambulance chasing.
Yeah.
We had a similar situation when I was with Logo Software
Mhm.
over faxes that people could file a lawsuit. It was like $1,000
Mhm.
on unsolicited faxes.
Mhm.
And so we got a thing from an attorney saying that it was a church that jumped on. And you look at the websites and it says, hey, do you want to get do you want to get paid and receive any faxes that you didn't solicit?
Mhm.
And so I mean this is dating it back a little bit with
Yeah.
the faxes, but so the government doesn't realize that they're opening the doors for these people.
Mhm.
And people are making a business basically just ripping people off.
Yeah.
And I think the attorney should be ashamed of themselves. I think the individual, it's like, you know what, go out there and work as hard as these small businesses are and earn an honest living.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. They're just there to prey on these people, and they just kind of just migrate from area to area.
Yep.
And then once they get what they want, they move on. You know.
By the way, with regards to our fax case, I told the attorney that he can basically shove it. And I said, our salesperson spoke to the person in advance. Here's the email that he sent to confirm that he was going to send a follow-up fax with the information. And so go pound. And he did. He went away because that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for the people that are just going to go, all right, who do I send the check to?
Yeah. And say, they did 30 businesses here. If they can get half of them to just write a check, I mean, that's good for them.
Yeah.
And the other ones want to push back. Then
That's $60,000.
Exactly. For basically filing paperwork.
Right.
So.
And they're probably giving that poor fool 20%.
Yeah. And that's minimum. That's for that's not counting court fees, because they're asking for our attorney fees too. It could go up to $10,000, if not more. I know some of them in other areas were $10,000, $15,000. Well, where do you get that if you're a small mom and pop and you're living kind of week to week?
So I knew somebody who basically a contractor ripped them off to the tune of about $200 and something thousand. Almost 100,000 of that was for material that they paid for that never even got delivered. So they prosecuted because they were, one, operating under a false license.
Yeah.
And two, it's basically theft, grand theft, because of the amount. And the father ended up dying. And the son, who also was a recipient of some of these checks, which is why we were able to go after the son, or they were able to go after the son. He got 5 years probation, and he was ordered to pay back the money. But the courts awarded it. It was like 100 and something. It might have been $250 a month, but I think it was 100 and something a month. If he didn't pay during probation, he was going to jail. As soon as probation ended, he stopped paying. So this person goes back to the courts and says, hey, what gives? He's stopped paying on the money. And they're like, well, you're going to have to file another lawsuit to try to collect that debt. Yeah. So they're never going to see the money.
No, not at all.
And yet jokers like this are capable of going after these honest small businesses that are just trying to feed their family.
Yeah. But it's how the system's set up.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. It's a bigger picture than what we're seeing down here. Until the state gets more involved and makes some adjustments, or I don't even know on a county level if there's something we could do as well. So we having technical difficulties?
Nope. I'm
okay. You're pulling up some information.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff on ADA compliance. I was looking through a lot of it yesterday, and there's so much to decipher through it. But we're hoping that it doesn't affect our businesses too much. And like I said, the city's kind of looking at this. We're looking at this and see how we can help support them at some capacity. You know, there are organizations that come out and they'll evaluate your business. Their CAS, the acronym, and I don't remember the full acronym, but there's several individuals in our county here that do this kind of work, and they will come in and evaluate your business and give you kind of an official document. And then at that point, you can actually show that you're working on the repairs and stuff, but still it's going to cost you money regardless.
Yeah. And by the way, if you do a Google search on 88, there are a ton of defense attorneys out there.
Yeah.
So clearly, they're making their money defending these cases.
You always wonder if they all work together just to try and
get I know. It's like, hey, we'll file the lawsuit, then they're gonna have to hire you, and
either way they're getting money.
They get paid, and the small business and the other dude gets screwed.
How can you be a lawyer and do that knowing that's ethically not right?
I that's why there are so many politicians that are attorneys. And I will just leave it at that.
Yeah. We don't want to comment the rest
of
that. Yeah.
That's all that has to be said.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're going to work with them, and hopefully that we have a good outcome for this, and we'll see, So anyway.
I need to talk to, I have a Superior Court judge friend. Their son does magic lessons with me, and they've been really supportive. And he actually got nominated, or he got selected 1 out of 12 kids nationally to do this journalistic program. And so throughout the whole United States, only 12 kids were selected, and he was one of them.
Really? Wow.
And they contribute a lot of the magic to helping him to be able to present and all that kind of stuff. So they're really big supporters, but he's a Superior Court judge, and I should talk to him.
Yeah, maybe he's got some thoughts on that.
Yeah,
ideas.
And he may have some insight as to, if you do this, they'll go away because they don't want the fight.
Yeah. And that's something that we're hoping that we can provide for our businesses is like, hey, here's who you can talk to. Here's who you can, like you said, maybe questions to ask. I mean, that's a good idea. So
I will reach out to him.
Perfect.
Yeah, there was when we had gotten sued for this law firm with this law firm. When I went to their website, it literally was an advertisement for people to submit your unrequested facts and get paid. I mean, that was the whole foundation of this law firm's business.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And you wonder, how do they sleep at night? But some people just don't have consciences.
No, apparently they sleep nice in their expensive beds and whatever that they prey on people. I don't know.
And I think out of the $1,000, I think they were paying the people that filed it like $100 or $75. I mean, it was like chump change.
Yeah. Something like this, if they can get $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 out of it.
Yeah.
Some of these people
times 30
for doing nothing.
Yep. Times 30.
Just get a nice check in the mail or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pathetic, really. All of what's
going
on.
It's sad, and our government needs to step up and do something about it.
It's got to be on a larger scale. I don't know if it's something you can do even in the county level, but it's got to be more state and federal government.
Yeah,
I think that needs to step in and prevent a lot of.
Yeah, they need to shut that crap down. Well, basically,
that'd take out 90% of the lawyers in our country.
I know.
I
know. And that would be okay. Might take some politicians with them.
But you know what? We have some great lawyers out here that could give some great advice. And some of these may need it. You know? So it's just hopefully we can.
Well, I will find out from this judge too and see what he recommends.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have New Year's coming up.
Yes, we're wrapping up
2
the
more
year.
weeks away.
Yeah.
We are in the process of redoing our whodunit room. We are changing the mystery, so you're not going in and solving Harry Houdini's murder anymore. You are going back to prevent Chung Ling Sue's murder. So you're not going to try to solve a murder. You're going to try to prevent it. It's a little twist to it's still playing the game of Clue, but it's kind of like on Minority Report. Do you ever see that with Tom Cruise?
No.
So they had these 3 psychics that lived in basically a pool of water.
Yeah.
and they could see crimes happen
Mhm.
before they actually take place. And so they would get this report, and it would say, go here, go here, go here before at this time, and they would prevent the murder, and they would show the video of them actually committing the crime.
Yeah.
But they prevent the crime from actually happening. So they still get prosecuted, but the crime doesn't ever happen.
Ah.
And so it's a little minority report kind of thing. You're going back in time 1 hour before, but it's all new puzzles, all new decorations themed, and got about a week and a half to finish it.
Yeah, it's under construction.
Yeah. Yeah, you're looking at it going, a week and a half, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Good luck with that.
Exactly.
And you and I both have these costs.
Can't get rid of this cop.
No.
It's driving us nuts.
Yep.
So, yeah. Time of year.
I did test for COVID because I have family coming over just to make sure, and it was negative.
Yeah.
It's just a cough.
Yeah.
So, have you been building anything?
Building anything?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Just I'm wrapping up everything with the chamber this year. We're trying to get everything situated for the end of the year. We run on a calendar year, so it's just wrapping up
Yeah.
our events, our finances, getting budgeting for next year, trying to figure out, we're lining up all these events for next year.
So Caitlin is going to be stepping down as chairperson.
Yeah,
So
with her
she's served
terms
for
up.
the year.
Mhm.
And we have a new one coming in.
Yes, Gloria Martinez, who also works for the county CEO office. So she's coming in.
Now, she was responsible for the parade, or not the parade, but the 150th anniversary party.
She was one of the players in it.
Yep.
So she was helping organize it. So it's good to see I have a updated executive board that's coming in. Elena Burlcroft from the Museum of Ventura County is my incoming chair next year. But we have, Tracy Hanna's again serving on the board as downtown business owner. Monique Vargas, who owns 2 businesses downtown, she's coming onto my board as well. Caitlin will still be serving as a past chair, and then Richard Rudman, business owner also, who handles like a lot of our government liaison stuff, and so he's our at-large member for the executive board.
Okay.
So yeah.
And do you have a new board member also from the toy store?
Yes, Deidre. Last name is Weaver. I think that's the last name.
I just know Deidre, Nanny and Deidre's.
Bad on my part. I should have.
Yeah.
But she was just nominated or just elected to my board today.
Good.
And then Jay Dolans from the Ventura County Community Bank is also now on board too. So we have a banker back in our organization. So it's good. We used to have somebody represent from Bank of the Sierra, but now we have somebody from the Ventura County Community Bank that's on there now. So we have a good representation of, we have 14 board members. So it's a good cross of business owners and some organization leaders. And so it's a good cross reference of a lot of people. Great discussion this morning about a lot of things that we're concerned about with the city. We have the oil museum. The RFP went out for that yesterday. So we're monitoring that to see what comes up as far as the vision of the future of the oil museum. So, the chamber has a direct concern on that too, to make sure it helps develop or create economic, helps the downtown growth. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you. The cough's kind of fogged my brain.
I know.
I'm trying to prevent from coughing. So we want to have a direct involvement with that also. And we've already submitted stuff, our thoughts on what it should do for the downtown district. So we're hoping that it kind of lines up with what we're doing. We do have a lot of things going on downtown, new wayfinding signs. There's a lot of new things going downtown with new trash receptacles, and something that the downtown district's doing is looking at hiring security as well. So we have our hand in that and helping interview some of our security companies. So we've been doing that over the last few weeks to help support the downtown district. So there's a lot of things that we're discussing and making, trying to help move the whole community forward. There'll hopefully be a new police chief in the next month or so. I know they're doing interviews for that as well. So we're hoping to have hopefully an announcement next month of either our current interim chief stays or we have somebody new coming in. So there's a lot of little things happening in our community right now. Nothing major. I mean, but it's a lot of these little offshoot things that we're trying to maneuver through and help guide, it's not easy. There's a lot of people concerned right now about what's going on in the economy. We're looking at marketing ideas. We'll talk more about the tourism bureau aspect of it as well. But I've been going through all my stuff, and it's like just little things here and there. It's just not one major thing, but it's just a lot of little things we're trying to wrap up and trying to figure out how we move forward in 2024. So and how we budget for it.
Right.
That's always a concern.
So one of the things that I think one of my missions for 2024 is to not look for someone else. How do you say it? You are your own savior, and nobody is going to be invested in your business as much as you are, and nobody's going to have as much concern for your business as much as you are. And so it takes you to save what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking internally as we go through the new year of, what things are. So one of the things that we discovered, and this goes back to the whole marketing thing and why marketing dollars are so important. Our escape rooms are highly reviewed, mostly 5 stars. People who come through them absolutely love them, and they talk about them and blah, 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 blah. Same thing with our magic shop. People go through the magic shop and they're like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's amazing. You have a really cool shop. The shows that we put on, people love them. Yet it's still a struggle day after day after day after day. And, we, as a marketing person, we pitch this to businesses all the time that you got to spend money on marketing in order to get the return.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the cobbler in their shoes, their kid is running around with, soles falling apart on the shoes, yet he's a cobbler. And,
Yeah.
So, so we're going to take some risks. And, but the reality is that, you got to be willing to invest some money to get the word out there. So your product is great. Your service is amazing. And if you're not getting people coming through, it's not for a lack of product or service, it's for a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And the only way to get that knowledge, especially where we are, is you got to invest in some dollars to get the word out.
Yeah. And that's something we are looking at as a whole. We talked about this morning about marketing.
Yeah.
How we're going to, not just through the Tourism Bureau, but through the chamber and other resources, even our downtown district. How do we market our downtown? We talked about this with some pop-up events, and how do we incorporate all that to highlight the whole downtown? And it's investment. We have to invest in this. We saw that last year with like cruise night, trying to pay for it. A lot of the restaurants invested in it to help support it, to keep it going. And it was fantastic. And they definitely got their return on investment for what they did, because there was so many people that did that. And so we're looking at kind of capitalizing some of that stuff too. We're actually looking at pulling resources, talking to other tourism bureaus, talking to, Visit California. There's a lot of free resources that we can use there to help promote. There's some other partnerships with some other organizations that we can look at too, to get our tourism bureau, to share resources. And, you're helping with the marketing on that, but, it would be great if we could partner with some of these organizations. We're finding out that we are partners with some of them, but we haven't done anything with them for years. How do we get re-engaged with them?
Yeah. And the problem, like with it, even with the Tourism Bureau, it's like, okay, so we're posting content, we're keeping the website up, we're doing, blah, 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 blah. But there's absolutely nothing extends the reach beyond our current reach.
Yeah.
And that's the same problem, with us is you're preaching to the same choir.
Exactly.
And the idea is you got to get beyond that choir and get to someone else, and you're not going to do it within your normal network.
And we learned a lot from the county's 150th party. We brought in so many people from outside of Santa Paula, that people that have never been to Santa Paula that live in the county,
Right.
And it's kind of opened some doors up to even look at a marketing aspect of it. It's like, okay, we need to market outside of our realm. We know people from here will go. I've always looked at that when I put on events, and they always say, why don't you market in Santa Paula? I don't need to, because they'll come anyway.
Right.
You do your traditional, Santa Paula
They're in
Times,
your
whatever.
reach.
Yeah. But I know they're going to come,
Right.
but it's marketing outside. And that has to do with recruiting, even our entertainment, get entertainment from outside the area that has followings, and you bring new people into the community and stuff. And so we've done this years before, and it's worked. And so we're looking at replicating some of that, where we can bring outside people, partnerships like we talked about with Visit California, or some of these other tourism bureaus. Partnering with them opens it up for us for other groups, and we'll share with what they have too as best we can. Even with the chamber stuff, what we're looking at is, instead of everybody individually doing social media or doing whatever, maybe we need to look at this more as a whole and see how we can put some marketing dollars to invest as a larger scale. And we're going to need people like you that have ideas on how we do this. So when we have, say, the downtown district, when there's a pop-up event, how do we market everything in the district, not just the pop-up event?
Right.
And that's one thing we did talk about, is like, some businesses feel that they're being excluded, and I get it, because it's the focus is on the pop-up. So it's like, so how do we get better at making better marketing decisions as a whole? Because those pop-ups, the chamber doesn't sponsor any of those. We don't do any of those other than the farmers market. We don't do any of those they're independent, but the perception is that it's a chamber event, but it's not. But we can help market it as a whole,
Right,
and help support everybody.
Well, you guys are kind of the umbrella, and
Yeah.
everybody individually still needs to market for themselves.
Yeah.
But as the umbrella, you can get a broader reach.
Yes. And the investment is, as your membership, you invest in the chamber. We use part of that money
Right.
to market on a larger scale. And that's where we're hoping that, this coming year, we do get some members that come in and are looking at being a partner with us and doing this. It's more about partnerships now. I mean, it's not like I'm going to tell you, hey, you need to give me money so I can invest. It's like, hey, what can we do to help support your business? And here's what we're doing, and here's how you can help us.
Right.
It's more asking for help and getting ideas than just saying, hey, you need to pay us, and then we'll figure it out. It's not how it works.
Right.
You need all the players in here to discuss this. We've had a marketing meeting for the holidays. It was a great start. Did it completely work? No, but I mean, it was a good start to get everybody on the same page. And they actually worked together during the holidays to help market like the downtown district. And that was great. But they're like, it wasn't enough. Okay.
Right.
So the next time we meet, let's talk about a bigger picture here. It's going to be tough over the next, 6 months. It's traditionally slower. Election year, who knows how crazy that's going to be.
Oh, geez.
So, there'll be a lot of information going there, but there's a lot of fear too, because if the economy goes kind of sideways again, how's it going to work?
Right.
So we need to figure out a better strategy through the chamber and as a whole. And we've talked with the city too about how we do better outreach too. And work with our Latino based businesses that traditionally don't do a lot of marketing too. How do we help them grow? Part of our chamber initiative this year is to help grow our businesses and providing training. We're working with EDC. We're working with SCORE. We have on September 8th, Jesus, February 8th, we're looking at doing a program with them. So they're going to do some business training as well. So we have a lot of things that we're trying to work on and help grow our own business. You're not going to get a lot of business coming into Santa Paula. We get a handful, but not a lot that's going to have a huge impact. So we got to help our businesses get better.
Mhm.
Give them proper training, give them materials, share resources. And then, the hope is that they invest in what we're doing and believe in what we're doing.
Yep.
So now,
All right. Well,
lots of good stuff,
we're off to a good start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to consider,
Yeah.
and there's a lot to do. It obviously it never ends.
No, and it's a difficult time of the year for a lot of businesses, small
Yeah.
businesses. So we just got to keep moving the needle forward.
Yeah.
And that's always a challenge, You know?
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things, one of the starts, is to know that you're not in it alone.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way.
And a lot of people, I think that too.
Right.
And so, and every city faces this, every community faces this. So it's just now just trying to pull together. And we've talked with other cities about sharing resources and working as a team as well. So who knows? We'll see what comes out of it.
All right.
But
well, everybody have a great Christmas. It's coming up December 25th. If you don't have it marked on your calendar, which is Monday.
Yeah.
And we will be back on Wednesday.
Yep. Next week.
So
to wrap up the year.
And then you're taking off for the New Year's.
Just for a few days.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. But
a few miles away.
Yeah. It's good. We used to take ours out to the beach and it was a holiday.
Yes.
So anyway, have a great Christmas. I hope everybody gets what they wanted from Santa, and hopefully there's no coal in your stockings. Have you been a good boy?
I have. I don't know about you.
You're on the good list. I'm undecided.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Santa's list just says undecided, right?
Not quite sure what's gonna happen when I wake up on Christmas Day. So all right, everybody, hopefully we'll get rid of our coughs too. So have a great Christmas, happy New Year, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, whatever it may be, and we will talk to y'all next week.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.